everybody, and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will. I'm a D&D sex icon, and I'm back today for another episode of Game of Thrones War of the Roses. We've got the cast and crew back with us, all aside from Kitty, who is away because it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Kitty. We'll see you next week. But we do have the rest of us here to get up to some mischief in Westeros today. So let's meet the cast and crew, figure out who we are and who we're playing today, and let's start with Jen, Dreamwisp. How's it going tonight?
Oh, I'm good. It's so good to see everybody again. I missed you guys.
Oh, we missed
Absolutely.
you too.
It's been too long. It's been too long.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be back. I am Jen Kretschmer. I am playing Valian McNair. I am Cicero's sister. I was kidnapped and tortured by Michael Blackwood, and I had been hiding as a member of the Night's Watch. I then unmasked myself and revealed myself to be, well, me, shortly, or in the middle of the joust. And here we are. I'm excited to get back into it, though I hear Michael is no more. Thank goodness.
I know, isn't it sad that he's dead? Yes, vengeance was stolen from you by your brother, Cicero. We have Joseph with us tonight. How's it going tonight, my friend?
Oh, it's good. I've definitely missed being a part of this for the past 2 weeks. A lot has happened in the real world. I'm 21 now. Crazy to think that. And I'm proud to say that I have finished Game of Thrones. I started this not having watched a single episode, and now I'm completely caught up. So things are great in the real world, not so great in this world. I'm excited for a lot to happen in this world as well, but oh boy, I'm ready for another roller coaster of 3 hours with Will and the rest of the cast. Holy cow.
Absolutely. Wow, that's awesome. Well, congrats on being an old man like me now. And that's, but we won't be here next year. This is one of the last summers for me and Joseph. It's old age gets to us, and well, it's a sad state of affairs. But we have Bird versus Plane of us tonight. How's it going, my friend?
I feel ancient right now, you young bastards. It was going really well up until then, and it's going to only go downhill from here as we start playing some more Game of Thrones. I'm going to be playing Halleck Bowl, who is posing as Septon Birch, one of the holy men of the 1 in 7, who is getting a little bit more comfortable. Like, he's finally found a place that has some stability until he, kind of has to sell the McNairs down the river as well. So it's just, nothing's good for nobody.
Yes, there may have been some naughty dealings.
Double crosser.
I haven't completely screwed the McNairs over yet.
I haven't done it yet, but I do.
I think we've already. We've already had enough salt down the river.
No, I might settle for some Septon blood instead.
I think we need some space, actually. I'm going to go ahead and take my leave here.
I know it's been a couple of weeks, but it is not long enough. Well, let's get back into the story and remind ourselves of what happened over the past couple of weeks in our world of Westeros. The party managed to slay Michael Blackwood, the nemesis, in a trial of 7, where Cicero McNair managed to finally take out that bastard. But they did then decide to flee back to their homelands for fear of repercussions from the Blackwoods and the Boltons, who have... It's been made clear to them that the party and their household are in danger from the Boltons and indeed the Blackwoods as well, after Septon Birch managed to meet with Captain Anderon, who was locked up in a jail and the dungeons of Blackwood Hall. He had overheard all of these rumors that there was something very bad coming the McNair way, and was prayed for a mercy kill, which Septon Birch gave to him. They fled. Along the way back, they saw the crossroad inns getting burned down by some of the Blackwood soldiers, but they managed to steer away in time to get back home to the McNair lands, where they met back with Cicero's and Valian's father, Sir Brian McNair, who is very deeply concerned about the events which transpired at Blackwood Hall, but also realizes that if they are to survive what could be a very messy war, they're going to need more than just their own help. They're going to need to seek the counsel and the help of the greater lords of the north. And so the plan is, and at the end of the last episode, that the main characters are going to head off down to the last half, I believe, to meet there with the greater lords of the north and seek some help. Most of the major NPCs, Squire Roynard, now known as Sir Roynard, as he was knighted, and Sir Arvin Oakart and Sir Donald Lee, intend to stay back behind at McNair Hall in order to train soldiers and help Sir Brian McNair during the time that the party are away. At the end of the episode, we saw them headed off, but we're actually going to rewind just a little bit because we have Jen back with us today, and I want to do the scene where she returns to McNair Hall after a long sojourn away. So let's kick things off then with saying this. You've returned from Blackwood's Hall, having fled with your lives for the most part, and you know that Cicero and Kaylee and Septon Birch have all gone their own ways basically, and they've headed up through the town and through the village to see family and friends and that kind of thing. And Valian, you are left behind with the rest of the NPCs who are all sort of headed off to their own various locations as well. So you see, returning home to McNair Lands for the first time in what feels like a very long time indeed, you see the same sort of settlements which has grown fairly substantially since the last time that you were here, and there appeared to be a great deal of refurbishments going on at McNair Hall at this point as well. So what does Valian do?
It's been a long time since I've been home.
Yeah.
Years. I think the first thing I would do is go to the stream, the spot where I used to go sit, to be by myself, to think, and sort of clean up and make myself presentable for my family. And draft a note while I have that quiet to send to the Night's Watch to let them know what's happened. Because regardless of my actual affiliations, I do feel a kinship there for the brothers who saved my life.
Okay.
So I think that's the first thing I would want to do upon coming back. So Valian would sit streamside, and I write the note, and I would put it away, and then I make myself presentable to go see my family.
Okay. So, yeah, you, with some, I guess, trepidation about yourself, head back up to McNair Hall. We'll say that this is around the time that you'll walk past Cicero and Kaylee having a rather heated argument with Kaylee's father, Graham Tarbeck, about Kaylee becoming a knight. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But there's something of a racket going on up there as you head forwards to the hall. Now
I
go ahead.
Probably would wait till I could get Cicero to come with me.
Okay.
This isn't something I want to face alone.
So after a while, you see that Graham Tarbeck storms off, and Kaylee and Cicero have a conversation. Is this the point where they kiss? I don't remember. Like 2 weeks.
Oh, it has. Yeah. No, I honestly cannot. remember either.
There's a lot of talk about hands at this point, and Cicero's
there was
not fake hand.
There was the appendage thing that happened. That yeah. But anyways, we're past that now. We're
Okay,
more mature people.
Yes, there was a
Are
whole lot
we?
of phrasing during that scene.
Like 3 weeks to pass that. 3 weeks more, but
Still great.
totally great now.
Yeah, so Kaylee sort of goes her own way, I guess, and Cicero starts to head back up to McNair Hall.
All right, I will head up to McNair Hall.
Okay. So, Cicero, you spot Valiant sort of, I guess, lurking in the shadows and then joining you on the road upwards.
Cicero doesn't really break stride, as I'm assuming she just kind of comes up and walks alongside him.
Mm-hmm.
Father will be glad you're back. I'm glad you're back too.
I'm not sure yet.
Oh.
To be fair. So, we'll see.
I may not show it, but Father never was one for too much compassion, so yes, we will see.
We don't need compassion. We need aid.
Aye, so does he. He's not happy about what happened at Blackwood Hall. Can't say that I am either, but what's done is done. All that we can do is move forward.
And so we shall. Here we go.
The guards along the way certainly recognize Cicero at least, and let you into the great hall, I guess, which is empty for the most part, aside from your father, who rises from his seat as he sees the both of you. He wears this long fur cloak, and the years weigh heavy upon his face, and particularly his eyes. Even while you guys have only been away for a couple of, maybe even a week or so, he looks older than the last time you saw him here. And he rises, Cicero. And he stops for a moment almost, and Valiant?
Father.
I was not expecting you here.
Well, we've all been places we haven't expected to go recently. Here we are.
By the gods, what are you doing here? Where have you been?
It's as I said. I was taken by the Blackwoods. I was kept. Well, I won't recount the things that happened to me. But I'm here now. And there's action that must be taken.
Well, this changes things greatly. Cicero, we spoke before of your plans to leave to last half to speak with the Umbers. He's completely lost for words. He sits down. Well, it's good to have you back, Valiant. It's been so very long. Cicero, you found her there at Blackwood Hall?
Well, she was here before. She's just gotten very good at blending in. But
I don't think I understand. When were you here last?
At the feast. When the challenge was issued.
Feast.
I looked a bit different then. I was wearing black.
I think I would recognize you in any dress. Why didn't you
You shook my
say
hand,
something?
Father. Because I couldn't. Not until the time was right. Not until it was safe.
Safe? What are you speaking of? How could I have shaken your hand and...
Father, I was rescued by the Night's Watch. They found me after I fled. In the Blackwoods. They kept me safe. I was so bruised, I was so injured, that they mistook me for a boy, and I did not correct their error. There were a few among them who knew who I was, but we all thought it was safer for me to keep the secret. And so I served faithfully.
He looks towards Cicero. Is this true?
aye. It was bloody hard for me to recognize her myself, but the important thing is that she is here, she is safe, she's willing to fight.
You...
Doesn't matter if she's a woman.
Night's Watch, though. Why? How? I don't understand.
Those with secrets to keep don't ask many questions. And I had many secrets to keep. As did they.
So you swore an oath to the Night's Watch?
With the full knowledge of a number of their commanders. Of who I was. And that oath was not something that I'd be able to fully uphold.
God, give me strength. I am of course pleased to see you, but these circumstances were not what I would have expected. Were they going to come looking for you, the Night's Watch?
I've kept them apprised of what's happened. I've asked for their aid.
See. Well, I'm
I'm
going to need...
Right, so...
Yes, well, I'm going to need some time to think about all of this. This changes a great deal. But, yes. I think it's best I retire now, for a while.
It's good to see you, Father.
Yes. It's good to see you too, daughter. And he stands up to retreat to his bedchamber.
I turn to Cicero. Well, that was about as uncomfortable as was expected.
He's got a lot on his mind right now. I don't think he was prepared for this in the slightest.
I don't know how any of us would be. And yet here we are. And there are things to be done.
Yes, and well, we've all got a lot of trouble on our minds, but there are things to be done. We have to prepare to leave. Defend our family
shall.
honor.
And we shall.
Cicero kind of, almost as awkwardly as his father, starts to trudge out of the hall.
Thank you for coming with me, Cicero.
Of course. That's what family's for.
That's what family's for.
Now, I think Father had the right idea. We should probably all get some rest. It's been a long road behind us and a long road ahead of us.
True. What's next?
We meet with the greater lords of the north. We try and attract them to our cause. It's not
How
going
can we
to be
best
easy.
prepare?
We have to prepare on multiple fronts. Our armies are training, trying to recruit other armies, but the thing that we need the most is support. The only way to win that is through diplomacy.
Well, we have that.
The Night's
history.
Watch... Aye. The Night's Watch will be a powerful ally. They aren't so easily swayed by power, money. They have nothing to gain. They're
No, they
respectable
search
ones
us.
at least.
My brothers are all respectable. Even you.
I like to think that to myself, but I can't lie all the time.
Well, you just keep
Well.
telling yourself. And perhaps someday you'll believe it.
Perhaps someday it'll be true. But for now, I ought to be getting some sleep as well.
Indeed. It will be strange to sleep in that bed tonight. Good night.
Thanks for coming
Cicero.
back. Good night.
Happy to be here. And as Valian walks away, there's a very faint clink of wood on the flagstone tiles of the hall.
So last week we had about 3 days here. I said to you guys if there's anything you'd like to do during this time, then we can jump into those scenes. So since Valian is back with us this week, open a question again to everyone. Is there anything in particular you would like to be getting up to over the next couple of days as Sir Donald Lee and Sir Arvon Oakhart are training the soldiers down in the sort of training field just outside of the hall. They're fairly busy, but you could also join in with doing them. And there's also sort of daily council meetings, I guess, with Sir Brian McNair and family. So there's a fair amount of things that you could attend if you felt like it. Plus anything else that you guys can think of that you'd like to be up to.
Would I be allowed to go to the council meetings, or is that something that only Cicero would be permitted to attend?
That's an interesting question. You could show up to one of these council meetings and find out if you like.
I mean, I'll start there.
Okay, so we'll say this is in fact the morning after you had that conversation with Sir Brian McNair, and you head down to the chambers, and Septon Birch and Cicero have also been called to this, and so would be in attendance downstairs in the main hall. So there's the three of them, plus Sir Arvin Oakhart and Sir Donald Lee, and Sir Roynard as well, because he is now a knight and he is important enough to show up at meetings. So they're sort of pouring over a map.
A picture of water that he's spilling everywhere. I got
it. He's doing some slapstick in the background, while there's some very lowbrow slapstick humor going on with Sir Roynard in the background for seemingly no reason, while the rest of them are sort of poring over a map.
Some laughs.
Exactly. Because there's a map of Westeros in the north, around the sort of circular chamber that you're in, or circular table rather that is on. Sir Brian looks up. Valian, it's good. How did you sleep?
Surprisingly well. Amazing what a mattress and being yourself will do.
Yes. Well, I
Also,
yes. Well, I was thinking last night. I walked in the Godswoods and prayed, and I believe that I've managed to come to a better understanding of how things are. Now, we lost you once, Valian, and the gods know that I will never forgive myself for that. In other ways, though, you are no longer my daughter, at least not the daughter of the house anymore, with the oath that you have sworn. But that does not matter to me. But what does matter to me is your safety. And while your brother and these knights here travel to Last Half, I think it is best that you stay here with me.
Hey. So you don't think that the training I've received at the hands of the Night's Watch, the few who guard us against the forces from the north, is sufficient for me to learn to protect myself?
Well, no, that's not quite what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I think you would be more useful to us here.
Where I was taken? Where you failed to protect me? You think I would be safer being guarded all the time when I was able to get out of the guard myself? This is the safer way, Father?
I do not think it is safe for you to go off gallivanting with your brother and these knights on what is likely to be a very dangerous mission. At least within these four walls you will be safer, yes.
Alright. Fair enough.
Very good. If you don't mind, we're in the middle of something here.
Continue. By all means. I'm not going to take up needlepoint. And I take out a stiletto and I start sharpening it. Very, very skillfully.
Now, Cicero, the best path to Last Half, I believe, was what we were speaking on. Now, I think it is best for you to go with a small group whereas an army would obviously be spotted. A group of you managed to slip away from Blackwood Hall, and I think making it westwards to Last Half through the forests would be the safest route. There is, of course, another way. Across the river. Last river. To be precise, you see where it intersects across, would take you almost all the way across the last half, but that is not without danger, as we know the Blackwoods control the rivers. What strikes you as the easiest path forwards?
It's most likely best to go through the wood. Rivers would be dangerous, and I'd like to avoid as much contact with the Blackwoods as we can.
Quite, yes. That is true, though you will still have to ford the river at some point, which will nonetheless be dangerous to find some kind of transportation across.
Aye. Boat won't do.
Well-
We'll have to try the logs if we can.
Well, right. Well, he glances over uncomfortably to Valian. Well, I think that's enough for today. We'll convene again shortly.
Excellent.
Very good. And he heads up onto the walls, and sort of everyone else begins to break.
Cicero, mate.
So Donald
remains
Lee
kind
is
of-
very happy about this. That was the best council meeting I think I've ever had.
Yeah, Cicero remains kind of just staring at the map. He's gotten very used to Donald Lee's statements of absolute enjoyment as of late.
Yes. So Donald Lee will say, "Ah! Valian!
Yes, Sir Donald.
How are you? That is one of the nicest stilettos that I have ever seen."
Oh, why, thank you very much. I take great pride in caring for my weapons properly. One never knows when one might need one.
Quite. As we found to our peril at Blackwood Hall.
Indeed.
Well, what are you going to be getting up to here, then? Because I'm thinking of staying behind. I could definitely do with a hand. Your father said that you were good with horses, or something.
No, he must be thinking of his other daughter.
Oh, right. Where is she?
Oh, she must be over there somewhere.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Why don't you check the tower? I give him a very elaborate labyrinthine way of going up a tower. It's gonna keep him busy for hours.
Go! And he heads off.
I would say, with Birch being here, part of this meeting, ever since Valiant approached, he has been kind of eyeing her with some very nervous eyes. Because the last time they spoke one-on-one, he was told by his little secret informant that Devrin was not who he said he was, and so Birch was very short and shitty with Devrin, not realizing you are one of the ladies of the house that he serves. So he
Not
has
only
been very
that,
much...
But you threatened me, and I straight up said, "Bring it." So
yeah. So
the next day.
there is some tension, but once Donald Lee runs off to chase a girl, Birch will clear his throat awkwardly a bit.
You need some water, Septon. I think the now Sir Reynard was carrying some a few minutes ago.
Oh, yes, I had some, but most of it's on me. I'll go find some more.
Thank you, my lady, and may I say I am so sincerely sorry for the way I addressed you most recently. I had no idea who I was speaking with, merely that I was speaking with an imposter. I was unsure of your commitment to the McNair household, not knowing you were part of it yourself. I humbly apologize for that.
I appreciate your apology, but you should know, Septon. that how we treat those when we are unseen is even more important than how we treat those when we are seen.
He kind of closes
Enjoy
his
your
eyes and nods his head and realizes, damn it, I've like really screwed this up. But
Have a wonderful day.
he... Okay. We'll just
Go
sit with
ahead,
that then. No, he's gonna... So he... before you go, Cicero's still here. And I wanted to discuss this matter with you too, Cicero. It seems clear as day that Valian can do so much more with us on this expedition to see the Northern Lords than sitting around here. She, more than any of us, is an example that the Blackwoods nor the Boltons can break a Northern spirit. She is the one that the Northern Lords could truly rally behind. One who could survive someone as cruel as Michael Blackwood. And come out stronger after. Do you not think she should come with us?
Cicero kind of looks up from the map, just quizzically staring at him, and says, "You were really under the impression that she was staying here."
Kind of looks between the two.
He was. Just goes to show how well he knows me.
You know,
Sir Arvanoko is still here, sort of peripherally in the chamber. Or sort of, he'll, if you want him gone, Philistine, he can have left. The last thing he would do before leaving is just giving the Septon a really, really tight grasp on the shoulder with his like mailed gauntlet, and it's like a clap on the back. But then he leaves it there, and it just sort of like crunches into your shoulder for a minute, and then he turns and moves.
Given that, we'll say that he was gone by that point. But with that having happened, Cicero kind of, his quizzical look turns to a more stern one as he gazes at the Septon, and he just says, "Septon, I would like to remind you that as of this point, your commitment to the McNair household is still under somewhat of a question. We don't distrust you enough to throw you out. We don't exactly trust you either. And you are knowing that Valian wasn't Devrin. That still strikes a bit of suspicion with me as to how you came across that information."
Considering my own father didn't recognize me. It would be a bit surprising that you, who I'd never met in my life, would know. So that leaves us to the question, Septon, where are you getting your information?
I went for a walk that night. By myself. A man, he didn't give me his name, but he flagged me down. He'd seen me enter the Blackwood grounds with you. With you all. But he only spoke of you. He said he'd seen your face before, that you'd been giving yourself off as a member of the Night's Watch, but that you truly weren't. That they'd seen you around the grounds before. At that point, I didn't know if you were some Blackwood spy sent in to infiltrate the McNairs, or some other one bought with coin to spread information to someone. I don't know. I'm sorry. I am truly in over my head up here and was merely trying to protect the young lord. Extends a hand towards Cicero.
Is there some sort of bluff check?
Yeah, because I would love to bluff this.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some opposed rolls here, my
I
friend.
would love to roll a deception check.
Will ought to be back in a hot second, I think. But
Just a second.
I'm
Yeah.
grabbing some
Oh yeah.
munchies. But
Valiant is watching every single move you make, just every twitch of your eyebrow, looking for any tell she can find here.
And he is trying to come off as the most sincere and apologetic person
Yep.
as best he can. And yes, as someone in chat points out, he's not technically lying.
Right about
Just
couple-
how he
couple
got.
of things.
Yeah, he just hide the truth a little
And
bit.
then you only had
He being
information
deceitful,
about me. So, yeah, what we're wondering, Will, is there an opposed bluff check we can do here? Or like a perception versus bluff type situation? No, we can
Definitely,
make that
there's like
happen.
I gotta remind myself what the skills are, but there is a bluff, and I think it's
So yeah, there's a deception.
awareness.
mm-hmm.
Oh, deception, yeah,
Yeah.
and then let's see
And
where I
there's
save
a
these character sheets.
persuasion too.
Yeah, let me go here. I have a million things in Google Drive. Okay, oh, it's your composure, isn't it? Yeah, it's like your God, where is it on these sheets? Your composure, I believe, is your
Oh.
intrigue defense. Yeah, your intrigue defense. So it's not necessarily a pose roll.
Okay, so it would be my intrigue defense versus his composure.
So it's
Or his-
your
okay.
awareness, empathy versus his intrigue defense.
Okay, so I can't use any of my knowledge of acting and disguise and deception and anything like that against this, right? I can't add any of that in.
Correct. So actually, yeah, we're not really playing with the intrigue rules because they're kind of bullshit. And I read them the other week, and I just remembered now that I read them and they were 50 pages long and made no sense. So if you were to roll your awareness, empathy, and he would roll his deception with anything in bluff, I guess, or act
Bluff?
maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm rolling my
I think
awareness
deception is
empathy. I can't
Correct,
use any of my deception or my intrigue. If my intrigue defense is higher, do I use that? Then
No, your intrigue defense is kind of like your passive lying ability.
okay. So
Yeah.
this is awareness. Yeah.
It's like your passive deception almost. Yes, I think being like withholding information definitely calls for a deception check. It's...
Oh, what are you doing right now?
Wow!
I have 4 ranks.
moly.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's 620 from Valian.
So, I'm excited to roll a deception check and then a new character afterwards. So, deception with bluff. So I have
Necessarily.
4. I have 4 deception. I have 3 bluff. So we're taking the highest 4 of these.
IS4, yeah.
And one of my benefits is treacherous, which I can add my cunning to deception during intrigue. So
Oh,
I think this is a plus 3, I believe. So let's go.
Damn.
Let's go 4 big ones, please.
Wow. So removing the lowest 3 is 20 versus 20, I think. What's your cunning bonus?
If we want to do the cunning, it'd be 23.
If
For
it's
me.
cunning, it would be a 24 for me.
Well, I think he has a trait which allows him
Or I
to
have
use his cunning ability.
Oh, wait. I
Yeah.
have. Oh, mine adds to persuasion.
Yep.
Because I have convincing,
Okay.
charismatic, and charm. I
Yeah,
dumped
so
it
I
all
think he
into,
just
into that.
He just gets you there, but not by many degrees, not by a degree of success. It's sort of dead on.
Can
So-
I burn?
Mhm.
Do we have points to burn? I have a destiny point.
Oh wow, yeah, we could burn destiny points. So there's spending and then there's burning. You wouldn't have to burn a destiny point for this. I think you could just spend one, which would let you re-roll. Let's check what destiny points do before we get into spending them here, because they're sort of like a fate point from. Right, let's see. Destiny points, spending destiny points. I think is what you want to do. I think burning them is when you're about to die. You can burn them, which. Okay. Spending effects. You can gain 1 bonus die. You can convert 1 bonus die into a test die. Okay, burning destiny points. Add +5 to your test result. That would do it.
I would do it.
Yeah, or
But
automatically.
even adding, I just need to. I need 1 more point. Oh no, I need 5. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I think you do need
Let's do
5.
it.
20 to 20.
Let's do it.
Woohoo! All right, so 1 destiny point is burned, and you. Whew, so there is this the stare down of an Aeon happening between Valian and Septon Birch right now, as the two of them are trying to perceive and penetrate one another's barriers, I guess, and see through one another to learn the truth. And you definitely will get the sense through this process. You learn a couple of things. First of all, is that he's lying about something, but second of all, is that he's a really, really, really good liar as well. He's probably better at lying than you are, and that's saying something. Kitty, thanks so much for the host.
Really saying something.
I will say he looks like, again, the most sincere, genuine man right now. And you can just barely see through that thick, thick layer of total BS. He is coming off as he truly believes it.
There's a hint of admiration in watching this. I appreciate the craft that went into this.
Respect the grind.
Yeah. And she notes it, and I very much appreciate your sincerity, Septon, and your apology. My thanks.
Yes. I will excuse myself now. There's some things I want to finish before we head out in a few days' time. Have a good day. And walks out with his head kind of bowed.
It's like Meryl Streep and Devil Wears Prada. That's all. Septon Birch. Fuck. Yeah. So the Birch is out.
So he
leaving.
wouldn't be on to that I have anything on you. That went great.
You're pretty sure you got away with that.
Like
one.
I said, he thinks he's killed it. He thinks he crushed it. He thinks,
so proud of himself.
He got out of that bind.
Yeah.
Lucky man. And as soon as he walks out, he's lying. There's something there. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to find out. Don't trust him.
Already warned us about another traitor in our midst, and now it seems we have 2 to worry about.
You think there's a second?
That's what he said. It's a lot of things to lie about, but
Now the best lies
I
to have a
don't
grain
think
of
he'd lie
salt.
about that. I'd like to see exactly who he truthfully is. Sure, we'll find out in due time. Get it out of him one way or another.
For a second, Valian's eyes sort of glaze over. I won't torture him for it. I won't do it. We need to know, but that's where I draw the line. We're not them.
Cicero nods. All right.
Cicero. Swear it.
I swear that you won't have to torture him for the information.
Cicero.
Yep, my word.
I just did that to Father. We know better. We're better than that. We have to be better than that.
In order to be better, we have to be alive. At that point, Cicero kind of moves towards the door.
Mm-hmm. Septon Birch, as you head out through the walls of the castle outside, you find yourself face to face with Sarava Nokart, who quickly pushes you up against the wall and gets very close to you indeed, like, this close, and you can feel his breath on your face as he's that close. Everything okay, Septon?
Yes, sir. Yes. Extending apologies to the lady for a misunderstanding. That's all.
Well, you make sure there's no more misunderstandings. You got that?
Of course. Never happen again. I promise.
Good. Because I don't want to have to tell you what I would do to you if things got more misunderstood.
Kind of eyes him up and down. I can only begin to imagine, but that won't be necessary. I promise it on the gods. Swear it on the gods, old and new.
Everyone thought that my brother was the main one, because he never talked. They were wrong. Well, you best go pray into your old gods and your new gods, Septon Birch. And then you and me will get along just fine. And this is when Cicero's coming in. He sort of slaps you on the back. Oh, great seeing you again, Septon Birch.
Always a pleasure, Sir Ogart. And Birch just gets away as quickly as possible.
Cicero kind of calls out to him before he's able to go away. Septon?
Turns, clearly very tense. Like sweating from his brow. Yes, young lord. Yes.
And Cicero kind of strolls up to him. Father doesn't know anything. Yet. And in the same way that Sir Arvin would have placed his hand on his shoulder, Cicero takes his left hand and puts it on Septon's shoulder. Pray you won't have to tell him.
Of course. Anything I can do for the McNair house, for you, your sister, anyone you protect, please.
Right. Whatever you say. As Sir Arvin said, I think you best get to praying too. Cicero walks out.
Prayers sound good. Prayers sound good. And finally now, at the quickest pace of the day.
Just
Just tries to power walk.
fucking run.
He's winning awards.
And Sir Roynard comes across and just smashes into the side of him unexpectedly for our final prep fall.
Water flies up into the air. Oh no!
A Wilhelm scream in the back. Wah!
Arvin will catch up with you, Cicero, as you're headed out. And, my lord's everything okay? I noticed that things have been tense. Wanted to see if there's anything I could do to help.
All I can ask for is your continued support. It's the best thing we can have from knights like you.
You
Things
can cut
are
the
very
bullshit
tense.
with me if you need, Cicero.
I-
I'm not really a general support kind of guy, you know?
Well, should the day come when I need some of your other skills, I'll let you know, but as of right now, I don't think they're necessary.
You say the word, Lord Cicero. In the meantime, your father has placed me on watch of your sister, so I'm not to let her leave your her chambers at night. But between you and me, I don't think that'll be a problem.
Well, if I could ask one favor then. Allow it to be as small of a problem as you possibly could.
All right. My lord. And he heads into the castle again to let you get on with your day.
Cicero gives him a nod as he leaves. And I think at this point he will just kind of go out and to the stables and take one of the horses and ride around the training fields just to kind of be there and boost morale what that he can.
Okay.
Just kind of make his presence known.
Okay. The bird scurried off. Cicero's out. Valian back in the hall. You see Sir Arvin Oakart step back in. My lady, I've been told to guard you over the coming weeks. Your father.
Guard me against what?
All the many dangers of Westeros, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Well, I'm sure you'll do your duty admirably, Sir Alvin.
I'm not to let you out of my sight, so if there's anything that you need to do or need to go, then let me know.
I'll make sure to do that, sir. Thank you for your attentive service.
Anytime, my lady. And if that Septon gives you any trouble, let me know, yeah?
Of course. He's a man of the cloth, though. I think he won't be any trouble.
So you've got
Well-
some time here then to spend. What are you going to spend your months here doing?
Well, I suppose I'll need to catch up on what's been happening in the area. Needlepoint, perhaps.
I think we both know you're not going to be staying here, my lady. I just wondered what you had story to tell your father.
Fair enough, sir. I mean, he did say not to let me out of your sight, so if it were to
I guess
happen
that means-
out of your sight, if you didn't see what were to happen, then it wouldn't be a dereliction of your duty, sir.
I suppose there's that, or on the other hand, I'd have to come with you.
That could be that as well, sir.
That way I wouldn't be letting you out of my sight. Anyway,
This is
my
true.
lady, I'll let you get on with your day. I'll be lurking.
Thank you. Well, lurk away, sir.
He sort of bows his head and enters into the corner of the room. So pretty much any next couple of days, any sort of room you're in is shortly followed after by Sir Alvin Oakart, who is
By a lurking Sir Alvin.
yeah, sort of lurking in a room, but making sure that he's lurking, but he wants to be seen, I guess, by anyone who could be like a threat, I suppose. Some sort of standard bodyguard duty. So, yeah, what does Valiant get up to in the next couple of days? The plan is that Cicero and everyone else is leaving in 2 days' time now, and you are to stay behind and do whatever it is the Lord thinks that you should be up to.
Yeah, I'm gonna start subtly stocking up on the things I would need. You know, dashing things away that could be useful. Hit up. Well, I guess I wouldn't have had any sort of. Who would be kind of the. Who would know the rumors and the whispers and the gossip of the region?
Good question. So you'd probably have some old friends here. One of them is a man named Duncan, who is the quartermeister and head of trade. He lurks mostly in his own sort of position within the castle, which is sort of a cellar area. So he's rarely ever comes out. He's only ever rarely seen to requisition orders and that kind of thing. But he's probably someone that you've spoken with in the past. He's somewhat cantankerous, and being as old as he is, relies on just heavy amounts of bribes in the form of ale and food that you can bring him. But for the most part, you know, he's like a good guy.
Okay. So a few things I need to take care of, just as general housekeeping. I want to make sure that I send the update Raven to the Night's Watch.
Yep.
I am going to continue to restock on goodies, and then I will grab one of the finer ales, grab a couple of bottles of it, and I will head down to talk to Duncan.
All right, so old Duncan, as they call him, is down in his somewhat gloomy chamber cellars. Behind him is just stacks upon stacks of sort of grain and supplies and everything under the sun that you could really imagine, I guess, is down here. It smells very dank and somewhat musty, like an old library. And you see old Duncan there. He's got approximately 2 or 3 teeth, but he's been doing this job all of his life, and so he knows it better than anyone else. His poor eyes sort of squint at you as you come closer. Hello? Who goes
Duncan.
there?
Duncan, it's Valian.
How do you know who I am?
Duncan, it's Valian. You've known me my whole life.
How do you know my name?
And I hand him an ale.
Valiant! Yes, I remember you. Of course I remember who you are. You are the... daughter. Yes, daughter.
Yes. There you go. Well, Duncan, how have you been? I've been away for a time.
Well, I've been here, I suppose. Yes, where did you go? I heard some rumors about you.
What did you hear?
Well, I heard that you were up to no good. Off with a bunch of bandits and whatnot. That's what I heard.
Well, perhaps your sources are not nearly as sharp as they used to be.
Well, where were you?
To the north.
North of the north, then, to the wall. Ah, I see. So the Night's Watch, then. Well, yes, my sources must have been incorrect, then. Very well, what are you doing back here, then? Are you
Well-
married?
No. No.
Well, you better fix that one quickly.
Perhaps.
He squints at you. Dear, oh dear. Spinster in a couple of years.
There are worse fates. Lived some of them.
Well, what is it that you need then, Valian? You only come down here for business. He starts drinking more.
Tell me what you've heard recently. As I said, it's been time.
I hear a great many things. You're going to have to be more specific than that.
Well, let's see. The Blackwoods, the Boltons.
Well, I heard everything that happened at Blackwood Hall, and I heard it a spot quicker than I think everyone else did here. But do they ask old Duncan? No one comes here to ask old Duncan anything anymore.
I'm here to
I
ask
did
them.
hear something interesting, I suppose. No. Something which
Oh.
maybe no one else has heard yet.
How do you like that ale?
Takes another sip. It's good. Almost finished, though.
Oh. How'd you like another?
I would like that very much. I would loosen my tongue a great deal.
Well then, cheers.
He swipes it and takes another drink. Well, as I heard, and I'm not sure it's the most reliable source of a source, friend of a friend, that kind of thing. But there's someone who's been spotted around at Blackwood Hall who, well, is from King's Landing. All the way up
Okay.
here. Yes. Far from home was this man. Well, he goes by Morton. But no one really knows who he is, other than he is involved with some very powerful people indeed. Within the court.
Like
He only
who?
travels on very important business, and usually in disguise as well. It so happened that one of my little birdies recognized him. His friends are in the court. Well, I'm afraid I'm far too north to keep up with what's going on down there. But let's just say, last I heard was that he had the year of certain queen.
That's so.
Well, one must always ask themselves, when someone is as rich as a man like Morton, where does all that gold come from? Well, the Lions, the Lannisters. That is where gold flows from north to south.
Did your little birds say anything about what his disguise looked like?
It's, shawl, robes, thin, middle-aged. Not much to go on, I'm afraid. Disguises are rarely, they rarely stand out. But whatever he was up to there at Blackwood Hall, you could bet it was mischief.
You know who he's talking to?
Can't say that I did. I saw him going into a tavern, though. Back room.
Interesting. If you hear anything else, and I put another bottle on the table, will you make sure that information gets to me?
Certainly.
My sincerest thanks.
Well,
By the way, and I share the information I got through the gossip that I obtained it at Blackwood Hall.
Okay.
From about the affairs.
Yeah. Very useful things to know indeed. Very useful. Well, he starts to lean back in his chair. This 3 ales that he's drank over the course of this have. He doesn't quite have the constitution that he used to, and he begins to somewhat fall asleep on you.
It's okay. I'm good with that. So I will.
And Arvin's in like the hallway lurking, as per usual. You trust an old man like that?
My life. And all my limbs.
What do you think this Morton fellow was up to then?
I haven't a clue. But I intend to find out.
Hmm.
The Lannisters are involved. It's something much larger than we've had around here in some time.
Well, Bolton's had to be getting money from somewhere in order to fund the armies and all the resources that they're getting, so wouldn't be the strangest thing on the world.
But why?
You know, there was a place to find that stuff. That would be along the last river at one of the trading outposts Blackwoods had. You get a hold of one of their books, you could see all of their orders. Get some proof.
It's an excellent idea.
Ah.
Perhaps we'll go that way then. Thank you.
Welcome. Where to next?
Would you like an ale?
Oh, an ale. Thought you'd never ask. You just kept producing those things from out of nowhere.
Well, you know. And I hand him a drink, and we head back to the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Or to the hall.
Yeah. Cicero, you've been training, so probably in the evening you make your way back to the hall as well?
Yes.
Okay. And Septon Birch, what have you been up to? You saucy little devil, you.
He's laying low. Like,
Yeah.
he
Head down.
a split
praying.
second there, for a split second there, was almost not the house's punching bag. But boy howdy, he has fallen further than he ever was to begin with. So he is taking some time, I think, alone, trying to recollect his thoughts. Again, he thinks he's tricked over Valian, but he still senses this just seething aggressiveness from Arvin, even from Cicero now. So it's a total, like, what the hell am I going to do here? I'm in with this
Right.
Morton fella. I'm stuck in this McNair household. I think I'm going with these guys to see the Northern Lords. So it is zero praying and a lot of just plotting and planning for his own eventual downfall and how to prevent it.
All right. Okay, so yeah, we'll say that Cicero, you've come back from a long day of training with Sir Donald Lee. You've managed to shake off Sir Donald Lee, who told you that he very much enjoyed being exerting himself with you and all of the other men. But he's gone off to like the local tavern to drink, where he's been getting along with the rest of the soldiers who always go for like an ale afterwards. So you find yourself back up at the hall, and you'll see Valian and Sir Alvin Oakhart coming out from the like the quartermeister's cellar.
Cicero's kind of... He doesn't necessarily distrust Arvin, but his eyes are kind of wary as he sees the two of them. He doesn't know if he's necessarily able to trust Arvin with the extent of the plans to disobey his father. So he kind of gives them a curt nod as he walks into the hall. And yeah, that's pretty much all that he gives them as he heads up for what I'm assuming would be dinner.
Yeah.
And
Good.
I'll walk up next to Cicero. I'll stay within Arvin's eyesight, but get a little bit of distance. And I will say a few things that you should know. The first is that there is the Lannisters have a spy. Someone named Morton. They're in the court. I don't know where they are with us, but they're in disguise. Arvin suggested that we go see what is happening with the finances down the river. Because the Boltons could be in league with the Lannisters. We could find the proof we need.
What the Lannisters could want with a house like us, gods only know. There's something much bigger going on here.
I don't disagree.
Anxious to find out what. What do you think might be held in the finances of the Blackwoods? You think the Lannisters are paying them?
It's possible. They have the Boltons. We know the Boltons have the Blackwoods. It would seem that the river runs all the way.
As if our
through.
damned 100-year contract wasn't enough. Greedy bastards. Oh well. This is, just more stuff for us to do. More places for us to go. Looks like we might not be avoiding the rivers after all.
Well, I don't think it's a bad plan, but I think we need to be on guard every step of the way.
Aye, that's become very apparent. And Cicero's eyes just kind of quickly flip back to Sir Arvin.
He's watching you.
So from here on out, I am going to be very much on guard for anything I could catch that would be a hint of disguise. And I'm good at it. So I know what to look for. My eyes are on everyone now.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's definitely happening.
Okay. So does like dinner had and that kind of thing? Or is there more of a scene you guys wanted to play out?
No. Oh, actually, Cicero, don't tip our hand yet with the Septon. I want to find out what he knows. And I intend to find it in a way that he won't be able to deny it.
Very well. You know what's best for those things. I'm more of a blunt force kind of guy, but I always had better tactics at getting secrets out of people.
Fair enough. Well, let's see what they've prepared for us and what fresh Torment's father's cooked up for us this evening, shall we?
Funny you should
got
say
some. Oh Jesus!
I, as your dungeon master, feel like the father of all of your torment. So yes, you head up for dinner, and there's a very awkward supper being held there with some fresh game which was hunted out in the forests earlier today. The knights, even Soraya, who's like on bodyguard duty right now, is allowed to sit at like the long table with everyone. So it's there's like 20 or so people having dinner at any one time. During the course of this conversation, your father, and also Septon Birch, you have been invited to dinner. Do you attend or do you decline?
I think we're gonna flash back to junior high here, and he will show up, but probably sit like at the end of a table with a couple chairs between him and the next person.
Just away from everyone.
Yeah.
You're on a kiddie
So
table.
again, he is just trying to be on his absolute best behavior and not say anything to anyone that would be even possibly upsetting in the slightest bit. So he is just faint smiles, nods. Yeah.
Would you honor us by saying a blessing this evening?
Yes. Wonderful idea.
Of course. May the gods bless this food to provide nourishment for our bodies, minds, and souls for what is to come in the next few weeks ahead. We pray in the name of the gods, old and new. Blessings be upon us. It doesn't like stand for any longer than he has to. Just immediately like sits back down, like just wanting it to be over.
Back to safety, like a scuba diver. Septon Birch is out of here. So, the small crowd echo the blessings be upon you, and the conversation strikes up once again. So Brian McNair at one point during the evening says, Valian, I was thinking, and you're probably like stationed next to him, so it's like Sir Brian, Cicero, and Endeavor, so you guys were all close. Valian, I was thinking, this whole business with the Night's Watch, you said the lords were, the keepers of the Night's Watch were understanding, so I rather thought we could overlook the whole matter of the oath. What would you say?
I'm sorry, Father.
What do you say to the matter of the oath being? We could sweep that under the carpet and forget that business. I think it would be for the best for the family.
I believe that you would believe that.
Absolutely. So, I have a plan that I was thinking.
Why
Well, it's always best to plan ahead, especially in times such as this. Now, we have the possibility of war on our doorstep, and with this coming to such a heated manner, it is a key time for us to ally ourselves with strategic interests.
Who did you want me to marry, Father?
I see that you've been giving it some thought yourself, which I am. I'm happy to hear. Well,
That's not
there
the
are
alcohol.
there are many suitable suitors in the area and beyond who would be key allies for us in the coming days. Now, of course, a marriage to a powerful or even minor household would secure us another army, which in times like this we cannot go without all of the allies we try. So there are a great many suitors. Would you like me to suggest some to you?
That's what I had asked, yes.
Excellent. Well, to name a few of them. The first of all, as I thought, is a knight who is, well, with us today, in fact. Within this very household, a knight who has sworn allegiance to our household and I think would make a very fitting husband to you. I am, of course, speaking about Sir Donald Lee. And
Valiant can't help herself and basically does a spit take.
yes, Sir Donald. Hello! What? Oh, marriage, was it? Yes, I know, I spoke of your father earlier today, Valiant. After I was just struggled to find another sister of yours, and spent about 4 hours doing it, but then I ended up finding your father instead.
Are you sure you looked in the right tower?
Yes, oh
Tower.
yes, I spent...
Tower on the left.
Oh.
Yeah.
Go again tomorrow, but yeah, no, I spoke with your father, and he suggested the idea that we were to wed, and I thought, well, yes, that would be a fine thing to do.
It is a thing to do. Fine might be. Yay.
Oh. Oh, last thing that I heard was Sir Donald Lee was saying, well, I love your brother Cicero with all of my heart. And so it would make sense that I would be a good husband to you as well.
I have no doubt that you love my brother with all your heart.
It is true.
And I believe completely that that is absolutely true. And I think that that's a wonderful thing, and this is something.
Let me say this, as I said to your father earlier today, is I have back at home the ability to bring 1,000 swords to bear between myself and my father. Now, while I am just a knight, I cannot pledge those swords myself because I could not convince my father of such a thing. But were I to be wed, then certainly I could. Now, that's 1,000 swordsmen is a whole lot of swords, and let me tell you, I've seen swords of these soldiers as well. They are castle forged, and some of the finest pieces of weaponry that I've ever seen.
Well, Sir Donald, does it not trouble you that I swore an oath before the god? And
Not in the least. Well, at least I would overlook that for Cicero.
Understood. And you wouldn't have any concerns that someone who would so easily break an oath could break an oath to you, fail to keep an oath to you.
Goodness, I'd barely thought of it. No, actually. Having met you and having met, most importantly, your brother, I can say that there is no one under the sun that I trust more than you and your family.
Excellent, excellent. Well, this is something worth considering and giving plenty of thought, and we should speak on it further. But, as you know, my brother is not yet wed, and he is...
Yes, that is another matter, Sister Brian.
So
Indeed.
that's another conversation to perhaps have. First, that is the wedding. As man of the house, he should be wed before I have to do that.
Well, really, there is no necessary order to this thing, seeing as we have the two of you in agreement here, Sir Donald and...
That agreement is not exactly what I would say, and I said consideration.
Well, I find you to be most agreeable.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Would you please excuse me? And I walk away. And I go over to Cicero and I go, help!
Cicero,
Yes,
who's
Cicero.
been
Go ahead.
who's been chuckling, trying to hold back as much laughter as he can for the entirety of this conversation, except the part about his own marriage. He just turns back to Valian and just, I've had a rough enough time getting myself out of this situation. Do what I can for you, but seems like once father gets his mind on one of us marrying someone, it's damn hard to change it unless you piss the other person off.
Well, we don't want 1,000 swords angry at us, do we?
Right, so, I'd consider his offer. And Cicero just busts into laughter.
And I look at him and I say,
for out of character for a moment, you guys have something like 100 swords to your household. So
Yeah.
Sir Donald Lee commands a vast army.
and I look straight at Sister and I go, he's going to be your brother-in-law.
That breaks Cicero's laughter for a moment.
The most sobering thing. Oh, gosh.
And in kind of a mocking way, just kind of we'll push this off until later. He looks up at her and says, "That is literally the worst thing I could imagine." And he kind of toasts her before he takes a sip of wine and goes back to eating his meal.
He toasts right back and drains her glass.
Yes, Cicero, on this matter, we really must clear this up before you leave. Now, you spoke with a couple of the ladies before at the feast. Did you come to an agreement with Lady Boatwright?
Why, how the shoe is on the other foot?
Well, I don't think she likes me very much, Father. I don't know if that
doesn't really matter.
I think
She'll
it does.
come to love you.
And Cicero's kind of joking mood turns serious as when we fought in the trial by 7, the Boatwrights sided with the Blackwoods.
Well,
One of
even
them
more
ran-
reason to secure an allegiance then. That could buy us time, if not some kind of immunity. Now, Sir Donald Lee did have another idea, which I thought was strange at first, but he told me that he managed to secure communication with one Lady Blackwood. He's told you of this plan, no doubt.
Yeah, Cicero's eyes shoot daggers at Donald Lee.
Yes, Lady Sophina Blackwood, the second, last daughter of the Blackwood household. Now, by all accounts, she was no fan of Michael, nor of the Boltons either, so we could secure a marriage there. They would have to stop. We would end this war before it even began.
I have asked Sir Donald to arrange a correspondence with us, yes? And what you say is... it seems truthful. But with the deception that the Blackwoods have led, I cannot help but wonder if what she writes is actually truthful. Could be another trap.
Could be, I
Already
suppose.
had one McNair.
Well then, son, please, help me here. Who would you wed? For we must have a marriage here. Alone the McNairs will fall. We may seek aid from the greater lords from House Umber, but that is by no means a guarantee. If they fall and fail to aid us, then we will be on our own. Who would you wed?
Well, Cicero becomes kind of distant for a minute. He says, I haven't met anyone of any standing that I'd like to wed yet. But, I'm going to meet with the Lords of the North. Perhaps there's someone there that I'll meet.
Well, let us hope that is the case. Let us hope indeed. Very well. That I can live with at least. If you will promise to me now, son, that you will seek a wife when you meet with them.
I promise.
Thank you, son. Well, Sir Donald and Alien, why don't we give you some time together to speak on this? It's getting late anyway. And the rest of the hall begins to sort of stand up, and all servants and people like that, Septon Birch is scurrying out, I'm sure, are leaving while Cicero, are you staying in this room, or are you going to head out as well?
Cicero, having the very sobering conversation that he just did, Cicero very stoically finishes his meal and stands to leave.
Okay.
And briskly walks out of the hall, yeah.
So Sir Donald Lee is left in the room, and Sir Arvin Oakheart is at the back of the room in the corner. And with Valen. So Sir Donald says, My lady, it does occur to me that we have not known each other very long, and that this is all rather sudden and fast. But what is not love? If it is not done in the heat of the moment.
I wouldn't know, sir.
Well, then let me ask you this, Valen. Have you ever been in love before?
That's a rather impertinent question, Sir Donald.
Well, perhaps I shall answer it first. I have been in love. She was a serving girl. Perhaps you remember this story. I don't recall if I told it to you or not. But my father didn't approve, and, she's back home. And I'm afraid that I can't return. As is my duty to my father and to my household. So instead, he sent me abroad to find a fitting wife, and train as a knight, and bring honor to his country. So, I do not confess to yet be in love with you, but I do have the capacity for love. And I should hope that you, having known me for a while, could see that I am a good man.
Oh.
He grins.
Mm. I will think on this, sir. She grabs the nearest glass of wine and downs it.
I pray that you do, for I truly do wish to help you and your brother. If war is coming, then, well, my father's army will be at your disposal, and your father's here. Even if you do not love me, which I can see that you do not, think on it. For in time, love can grow like a rose, like a flower. Springing up, slow at first, but then gaining in speed. Perhaps this is something that we could take on together.
It's worth discussing. If you don't mind, sir, I'm going to excuse myself now. And acting far more drunk than she actually is, Valian's going to sort of stumble kind of out of the room.
Mm-hmm. Of course, my lady. Sleep well.
As I sort of go to stumble out, I'm going to just sort of throw a hand on his shoulder briefly and kind of fall into him to look closely at him. Do I notice anything off about him?
You can roll me an awareness.
Okay.
I think the fantasy grounds might have crashed. No, wait, when I disconnected, actually. Let's see if it's back up. There it is.
Ish.
11. You don't notice any kind of disguise on Sir Donald Lee. He's certainly he's young. He's probably around 27 or so. So he wouldn't fit the middle-aged description, but it doesn't look like there's any kind of, beard or prosthetic or anything that's makeup that's on him. He looks, pretty fresh-faced, really.
Okay. Can I attempt a sleight of hand check too to see if he has anything in his pocket?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that a shot. I get
Okay.
a bonus on that. It's the 3 plus 1. So it's a 1, 2, 3. That's my bonus. 4. So,
yeah, what's that all in total? 7, 9, 11? Yeah. So Donald Lee doesn't have any kind of defense touch kind of things. You slip into his pocket and you retrieve a piece of parchment which is like rolled up.
Okay, I'll pocket that.
Okay. He just kind of helps you, and Sir Arvanokar comes like rushing over to assist as well. Don't worry, my lord, I'll take things from here. And so Donald, righto. Good man, Arvin. Good man. Good to see you again, by the way. How is your brother? Oh, goodness, he's dead. Arvin... Arvin... it seems like an honest mistake. Sir Donald Lee is more of an idiot than he is attempting to throw shade. Sir Arvin shoots him some daggers, and he will sort of soldier carry you, I guess, out of the room.
Okay. When I get back to my quarters, when I go to change, when he would kind of be turned around, That's when
Yeah.
I'll take a look and see what the note was.
You open it up, and it is a piece of parchment with what appears to be a poem on it. It is a fairly sweet poem, if terribly written about you.
Oh boy. Okay.
Like high school edgelord kind of poetry.
Yeah. Okay. So not
Super earnest.
Not a criminal mastermind. Most likely.
Probably. Arvin will like say over his shoulder, "So you're gonna marry him then?"
Thousand swords. Tenfold what
Is
we
that-
have.
That's true.
He has no expectation of fidelity.
I suppose that was true as well. He seems like a good man.
Far more enamored of my brother than he is of me.
Well, he's a romantic.
He is. Would not have been my choice, but apparently I
Who is
have
your
returned
choice?
from the dead. To serve
There's
a
no end
purpose
of good
for my-
suitors around here, I'm sure. Your father mentioned.
No, my father told me he had a list, and then he gave me one. More than anything, it just means I want to leave. The sooner we can leave here, better.
Well, I know you don't need me to watch you as much as your father has asked, but wherever you ask me to go, I will follow.
And I put my hand on his shoulder, and I'll basically do the same thing to him. I'll lean in and give him a check of my own.
Okay. You want to roll the sleight of hand?
Yeah, let's start there.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, you did the other one first, didn't you? You did the check for
There's a 5.
suspicious-looking prosthetics.
A 4. This is being really wonky. It rolled a 5, a 2, a 4,
Okay.
and a 2.
Yeah, you, I guess he'll, like, turn around as you put your hand on his shoulder. You can get a good look at his face. And, yeah, again, he has a pretty craggy-looking face, and red hair. But it doesn't look like any of that is not real. And you're pretty well versed in what, like, a fake beard would look like. You've also seen him at this point in combat without his helmet on, so you're pretty sure it would. Yeah, you're pretty sure he's legit.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and I'll give him a kiss on the cheek, and that's when I'm going to do the check. So 6.
Damn.
2. No, that's a 3. 6, 8, 5, 6,
Ooh.
5.
Okay. So all in all, that was what, like a 12. Oh yeah, way higher than. Okay. So you just want to slip a hand into his like main like breast pocket, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, see if he's got anything in there. Let's see. He does have something in his pocket. It is a small, and you sort of palm it out as you kiss him on the cheek. You palm it out, and it feels like a flower, like a small in your hand without like looking down at it really obviously. It feels like it's a flower, and that was in his pocket.
If it feels like I can pluck off a petal, I will, and I'll leave it in his pocket.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And I'll just pocket the petal.
Okay. You kiss him on the cheek as you reach in and steal away from his breast pocket, and he sort of, my lady. Is there anything else I can get you, Millie?
No. But you could stay a while. Perhaps.
Aye. Oh well. So, well, the scene fades away into blackness as
moving on.
we see everyone else sort of going to sleep. I guess Septon Birch, somewhat nervously finding himself at rest tonight. Cicero probably also isn't having the best night's sleep after there were some pretty heavy implications to what's is going to have to happen over the next coming weeks in terms of marriage. So, yeah. The next day begins, and Cicero, what are you up to this morning? There's another council meeting again, of course, and there's training out in the fields, or anything else you can get up to. I think this is the last day before you guys leave.
Yeah, Cicero is essentially making final preparations. He is a little bit all over the place, kind of roaming back and forth between the training fields and the hall, just to try and make sure that he's got everything that he needs in order. He's pretty nervous about this journey, and also making a good impression on the Umbers and the Lords of the North.
Okay.
So he's just essentially, that's what he's up to.
All right. And Septon Birch, what about you, my friend?
Man. I'm so nervous. Okay. Is there, on the McNair grounds, is there some sort of established tavern? Is there a regular place of drinking?
The regular tavern where all the soldiers go to drink is large enough to hold a couple hundred people, probably.
Okay. Is this, and I don't know if Birch would know him, is it the same place that Duncan was getting drunk earlier? Or was that just in his own
So that was down in his cellars, but Duncan frequents this tavern.
Okay. I mean, Birch has to know before we head out. On a sheet of parchment, he just writes the word north and seals that parchment and visits this tavern.
Okay.
And
can I throw something in? Because there was something I wanted to do that night that I didn't do while we faded to black that may affect what Bird's going to do. Which is, I wanted to make sure that a note got to the Septon giving him a place to meet and it was going to be signed with an M.
Okay. Would you
And then I was
entrust
gonna have
us to?
come with me.
Okay. Would you entrust us to Sir Raven? Because it would probably have to be hand delivered.
Yeah, I would. Because if it
Okay.
doesn't get there, I will have learned something about Sir Arvin.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so then I will let Cicero know the appointed place and time, which probably will be that tavern, right? If that's where.
Yep. It's like the meeting spot, yeah. Okay. So, Sir Arvin would have stolen away in a night to hand deliver this note to Septon Birch, or at least like slip it underneath your door, Septon Birch, and then Sir Arvin returned to like watch duty on the door. So Birch, you wake up to this note telling you to meet at this place.
Okay, just for my sake, could you tell me exactly what's on that note? Exactly how you write it? Or what you put on it, everything about it. Could you tell me that? Because that is very important right now.
Well, how much information did I get from Duncan about any of that? Is there any
Duncan told you that they met in a tavern and that Morton was there, but he didn't say that Septon Birch was there. He didn't confirm that he saw Septon Birch going in or out. He just saw that Morton. So that you definitely know that there's a tavern where Morton was before at Blackwood Hall.
Right, but anything about communication? Any rumors about that?
Yeah, I think Duncan probably told you something fairly cryptic, like the innkeepers, speak. The innkeepers know more than they let on a lot of the time, and they're like the go-to rumor monger type folks, and probably some implication there that Lannister coin could buy, secrecy from pretty much anyone.
Okay.
This is so tense.
Yeah, I don't know. So I wouldn't have a coin, right?
Correct.
I would. I'm trying to think what to say. Oh my gosh, now I'm like.
I know, and it's making me so nervous.
Yeah, the silence is the worst.
I would make it as nondescript as possible. It would be just something like the tavern name No, you know, it would be the innkeeper's name. And the time.
Okay.
And M. And I will get there before that. With Cicero, I will disguise myself. I will find a place for Cicero to hide, and we will wait.
Question, is Saravan here? Does he know about it?
Well, he delivered the note.
He delivered a note for you. Yeah.
So if he looked, then yes, but otherwise, no. This would be
So he
it.
does follow you around.
I have something to do.
Right.
I have an errand to run, and it's
Right.
it's a, I'm gonna throw the pillows in the bed so it looks like I'm still there, kind of thing.
Right.
If I have to.
Okay. Okay. So, Septon Birch, you receive this note following morning.
Okay. And I mean, feel free to call me out on this if it doesn't make sense. But he sees another note, the third of these to appear in his life, or the third cryptic message sent, and the hand slightly shaking, thinking that maybe this person has followed him all the way to Blackwood Keeping Back. He unfurls it and reads over through it. There's not much there, but he reads it once, twice, the third time, trying to figure out what to do with it, if he should follow through and go, if he should stay, if he should burn it on the spot. And he looks over it one last time before he reaches into his cloths and he pulls out that little symbol he'd gotten before and looks over again at the table next to his bedside where that first symbol he'd received was. 2 symbols of the 7-sided god. What he was looking for in this note was something related to the like one of the 7, because that has been Morton's staple of speaking to him.
Yep.
And I think what he has now, or at least how I'm kind of mulling it over in my mind, is that someone is outclassing him at information, but they don't know the whole story yet. And I think he rules without the usual sign of the gods. This is a setup.
It is
Is
true
that
that
fair,
every time
or-
that
is
Morton
that
has...
fair?
I think it is fair enough to say that...
I don't want to meta this or anything. I was really
So-
waiting to hear if you were using one of the...
Yeah, so I mean, my question is, would this be a place where I could apply my persuasion and my charm charisma stuff? Because that's what I specialize in, is that convincing people of things.
Mm-hmm.
Either
So,
make them hear what they want to hear, or make them hear what they're afraid to hear.
It's funny. I've been running a Game of Thrones game for about 4 years, and this comes up a whole lot more than you would expect. Is can I persuade someone through a letter? Because we write letters all the time in Game of Thrones to like persuade a lord of something or something like that. Usually, I roll it as yes, you can, but there is usually either the spending of a destiny point or the burning of a destiny point involved, which is to say, because you are not there in person. It is more difficult to convince someone through writing alone. And there's a couple of things which I think make sense for Septon Birch, which are stacked up against you, which are knowledge which Valiant doesn't have right now, which is to say Morton never signs his name. And there's always there's a statue which is goes with each of these messages. So there's a reason, I think, for Septon Birch to be cautious. Yes, the way we'd roll it is I would say that you could spend a destiny point and then we would roll, and it would be the Septon Birch's awareness versus your own deception. If you wanted to do that. If not, I think the Septon Birch has reasonable cause to believe that maybe this isn't Morton.
So we haven't gotten any other destiny points other than the one we started with, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, I think you start with one unless you are a child, and I think children start with more. I'd have to go and check.
Right,
I know
which
that
is,
not
I'm
everyone
not,
starts
and
with one.
I started with one, which is the one I just burned to get the deception.
Yeah, so they are... you know what? I probably should have awarded you a destiny point for killing Michael Blackwood, because that would be described as a major plot, success for you as a team. So I think it would be safe to say that you would each be awarded one more destiny point at that point. Which I'm fine to do retroactively, because I should have done it earlier. Yeah, so I think you would each have 2, or Valen would probably have 1. So it's up to you whether
my
or not you want.
persuasion versus his
Awareness? Yeah, his awareness, yeah. You could probably get any bonuses in bluff involved as well. Not sure if Valen has any.
I have act. I don't have bluff, but deception.
Yeah, it would be deception, and you're really good at deception.
So yeah, my deception is really high. My deception's my best skill. But my persuasion here. So what would I be using against it in total?
So you'd spend a destiny point, and then you'd roll your deception, and the Septon would roll his awareness.
Okay. So deception, not persuasion.
Correct. You are pretending to be someone that you're not.
Okay.
Not persuading him that you are someone. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. I'm burning destiny points left and right tonight.
I like it. I love the scheming.
8. I have 5 ranks
Boy.
plus 3. So
the 3 bonus ones take away the 3 lowest rolls, basically, from these ones. And what you can do is, to make this easier for you, is just do /die space 8d6. Like so. Don't take that one, that's not. Adventure Party, thank you for cheering. Appreciate it.
Here we go. So we'll drop the 3 lowest, which are the ones. The 24.
Yep. So 24 total. So Septon Birch, the way your awareness here. Now, I think the only way you can pull it off is by rolling 4 6s. If you have 4 dice to roll in awareness.
And I do not. I have 3 awareness.
Yeah, I think it is awareness. It could be cunning, but I feel like it probably is awareness. I will check it just in case.
I think it's fair to be awareness, man. I'm fine with that. Like, if you spend a destiny point, it seems like that should have a massive payoff. So I am totally cool with my destiny coming to an end.
The end of everything. Yeah. Okay. So let's say then that there's something about it, and this destiny points to somewhat these in Game of Thrones. There's a big motif of you getting signs, and so Eddard Stark he sees he's gonna die about in episode 1 basically. He sees these ravens cawing for his death, and there are the dire wolves dying is a big motif. So there's some sign that you get today, Septon Birch, which just makes you know that this is real. And I want you to tell me what this sign is. Maybe it's from the gods, or maybe it's just, something that you see when you look out the window.
I think he's looking at this note, and there's this sound that picks up. And at first it's this mistake. He mistakes it almost for like a person moaning or like wailing, just this terrible sound. And it draws him to a window, the window of his sept. And he looks out to find out what this terrible wailing noise is. And he sees the Godswood. And there, this massive tree with its face put into it, the staple of all the northern homes, is there. And he just looks at it, and you can just hear this wind blowing through the air in such a way that just sounds like a low moan. And it's just this terrible realization that maybe the old gods are watching out for the McNairs. Maybe something is out there, and maybe it's finally caught up to him.
Yeah. So is it with more of a resignation that he reads this letter and realizes that, I mean, you could play it a couple of ways. You could, in that sense, infer that maybe Septon Birch realizes that this could be something of a setup, but decides to go anyway because he thinks his fate is somewhat tied to the old gods. Or you could play it as, you know, the gods are on the sides of the McNairs and they have convinced you.
Yeah, I think. No, I think he realizes that he has been a shit for a lot of his life. He has lied, cheated, stealed. The cops are coming for him. Shit. No, I think
the gods.
What he has done to get this
weird noises.
Sorry, it's my neighborhood, I think.
Yeah.
No,
I think he's realizing that he has done some awful things to get to this position in life. And he's never truly believed in the gods. He had some suspicions when he first saw that little statue and kind of figured out, oh, maybe my life is just this cosmic joke now, because here I am finally successful and finally can live with some sort of safety, and it's already upturned. And so now this is like, okay, the gods do exist and they fucking hate me. So he is just going to go with a bit of resignation, even if he's completely caught here, and at least he doesn't have to keep doing the lies and figuring out new stories and running every single time. So I think he's just going to go face fate.
All right. You have a date with Destiny, Septon Birch. Cicero and Alien are in, I guess, the back room, like the back tap room of the local inn. You step inside, it's pretty quiet. There's no one else really around. A couple of locals maybe in at this point, and the barkeep. But that's all there really is to speak of in the room.
Looks around and just walks to the bartender. And so my plan today was to do this, and now I think he'll do it anyway, just so he has some peace of mind. When he gets close, he will pull out the small statue and just see if there's any look of recognition in the barman's eyes for what it is, to see if Morton's reach really does reach all the way into House McNair.
Yep. You see the barkeep sort of raise an eyebrow, scratch his head for a second, and then nod into the back room.
Birch gives him a nod and slowly walks to the back room.
In the back room, you see Cicero and, I guess, Valian is disguised at this point, but is it clear to him that it's Valian, you'd say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Valian and Cicero are waiting across the table from you.
He has the note out, facing forward, the words facing them, and just holds it out, his eyes narrowed, just looking between the two. And doesn't speak. just waiting for them to say something.
Cicero at this point has, whenever he is around the hall, the grounds, anywhere in public, he is noted for wearing his gloves. And at this point he has them off. And his hand is just kind of sitting on the table, the one silver one just kind of gleaming in the candlelight. And with the other one he gestures to an empty chair across the table.
Birch smiles a bit, thinking back to his meeting with Morton, being almost the same, being just gestured in silently. Shakes his head and comes forward, sits in the chair, places the note on the table, folds his hands, and again just stares at the siblings.
Oh. There's one answer. Time for a few more.
Where do we begin?
Well, let's start with introductions. Septon.
Oh, I thought it was pretty clever. My name is Halleck. Halleck Bull. And, I'm no Septon. And as he says that, he kind of flings off the ceremonial shawl and just kind of like loosens up his shoulders a little bit, as if it's kind of a relief to finally get that thing off. So, there's me. I'm no man of the gods, old or new. But I happened upon one. That story I told you. Valian. You were Devrin at the time. Something in the woods, something nasty that came for a group of men. And a Septon. That was true. It's just... I wasn't the Septon then. I found them. Their bodies. They were... terribly attacked by something. And I saw the Septon and I thought, who would even think twice? A bumbling man up north, out of his element. So I took his cloak, and I came here.
So you came to the north, a land in which we hold gods in some of the highest esteem, pretending to worship them. You remember the last time I interrogated someone, and he holds up the silver hand. How I got information out of them.
Yes, I'll never forget that.
I'd like to do that right now. But I made a promise. And that's why she's going to do it. her way.
Why?
Why? Because Septons are protected folk. They live cushy, easy lives. They get free food and shelter for spewing bullshit. It seemed pretty simple to do. Plus, he was from King's Landing, a worshipper of the Seven. You northern folks don't give a rat's ass about the Seven. I thought I could ease by on it. And I did, for quite some time. Not a whole lot of people curious about the Seven here.
Who's Morton to you?
Now this is where things get interesting. I was telling the truth, you know. Someone did reach out to me. Blackwood Hall, someone found me, and that person was Morton. He knew the truth about me. He knew I was no Septon. So he found me, brought me into a room, not unlike this one, and he had some things to say. He wanted some information. Some information on the McNairs. He also told me Devron was not really Devron. He seemed to know quite a lot.
What else did he know?
Something was brewing, something bad. Which we have had since then confirmed.
Why did you trust him?
Trust him? I didn't trust him at all. But he knew my secret. So it was get exposed then and have the whole thing come crashing down then and there, or try to ride it out a little bit longer. And maybe, just maybe, get away with the whole thing. Die fat, happy, and fed.
You still want that?
Kind of looks down at himself. Yes, of course. But I got a feeling that's not really in the cards for me anymore.
It's possible that could be arranged.
His eyebrows kind of shoot up, and he leans in a little bit. Now, there are two things I want you to know. After that, any questions you have, looks at Cicero and kind of focuses specifically on his hand. Anything you want to do to me, I get it. But here's what you need to know. All the information I gave him was common knowledge. Was out in the open. And the more important thing you need to know is when I met with Andron in the dungeons, and he told me there was another one who had infiltrated House McNair, that person had been giving out secrets of McNair Hall, numbers of our armies, the soldiers we had left, where they're positioned, specific information. I never gave any of that away. There is someone else here someone else feeding information to the Blackwoods and the Boltons.
Do you have a suspicion of who that might be?
No, I was hoping when we returned, I could maybe get out a bit, talk to a few people, but after our first little encounter, didn't feel very welcome. Felt like there were a lot of eyes on me, and for good reason, huh?
Well, Septon, perhaps something could be arranged.
Another deal. Tell me, what do you have in mind?
You continue doing exactly what you've been doing. There's just one more thread in the chain.
He takes a moment, kind of bats his fingers against each other, really giving it some thought.
You want to die fat and happy and fed. You happen to know a place that might need a man of faith. Weather's bad, but the view is remarkable. And they have a penchant for forgiving a past. It's what a person does when they're not being watched that matters. It's your choice.
He thinks for a moment and says, listen, if you keep me around, I could send him false information. I could play the Whispers game. I could send Morton the wrong information. We could manage this. We could turn this into a positive somehow.
I would ask that you keep doing nearly precisely what you've been doing. Because clearly, you're very good.
Smirks at that. And
I leave the
clears
rest unsaid.
Clears his throat. And returning to his Septon voice, just says, Young lord, my lady, you, as always, have my service.
Septon, don't forget to pay the barkeep on the way out. And I stand up and turn around, watching to make sure that he puts a Lannister coin on the bar to ensure their silence. And if that's done, then I'll walk away.
Well, I think on that bombshell, that is where we will end tonight's session of Game of Thrones, War of the Roses, because, whoo, what a spicy episode today. We had it all. It had it all. It had intrigue, it had fate points being burnt and spent, it had romance, it had distinctly not romance. Whew. That was a whirlwind of an episode, and I cannot wait next week to pick things up with Kitty back of us, so that we can get into all of the terrible relationships which are forming and evolving over the course of the past couple of weeks or so. Because man, poor old Sir Brian McNair, what is he gonna do with you lot? Stressed out dad. Stressed out dad. Might I just also say my favorite character to play as well is Sir Brian McNair, because it's just all about screwing screwing with you guys as the worst possible dad figure around. So that really is a pleasure. But if you guys enjoyed tonight's show, let us know in the chat. If you haven't followed the show, go ahead and do so. I'll be doing a giveaway here for those of you who are here in the chat for the tabletop loot dice, exclamation point loot there in chat. But let's go around the cast and crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? Where can we find you guys online? Jen, how was that tonight?
Oh, that was a blast. That was so much fun. It's great getting to play Intrigue, and I love having the opportunity to make huge game-changing decisions. So to get to have two of them in one session was a blast for me. And it's so good to be back. I missed you guys. So I'm so psyched to be back and playing again. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as @DreamWisp. You can find me on Twitch as DreamWispJen. And you can find me here next week to see how this goes down. Now that we've got the Septon on our question mark under our thumb.
Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah. Oh man, great stuff, Jen. Great to have you back. And yeah, Bert, how was that tonight for you? Stressful, I imagine.
Oh, that was fun. No, I love seeing everything and all my plans just very slowly unravel before my eyes. And so we'll see how this goes going forward. It definitely pushes Halleck/Birch's story in a way I thought we'd get to, but not at this juncture. So incredibly good use of the Destiny points, because I thought with my treacherous benefit, I was like, I'm golden. They'll never know until I want them to know. Nope. Best laid plans, man. I had a blast with that. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Bird vs. Plane, where I do a bunch of streaming stuff for charity and doing some RPG creation with Bird in the Storm. Yeah, that was awesome.
Fantastic. And last but not least, Joseph, how was that tonight?
Oh, always a pleasure. Always a dark, twisted pleasure. But yeah, this is by no means what Cicero was built for, but I had just as much fun just sitting back and watching it all happen. So it was fantastic. Can't wait to get into more of it next week. And I hope you guys in chat enjoyed it as well. I know I had a fantastic time, so thank you guys so much. I will see you guys later. You can find me on Twitter at JosephIsNotFast. That's it.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, until next time, my friends. Until next we enter Westeros. And Kitty will be back with us for that. Let's pick the winner of this giveaway. It is Deutsch. Congratulations, my friend. You have won yourself a set of tabletop blue dice. I think I have all your info from last time, actually. But that is great. Tomorrow is Tuesday, which means that it's time for us to do some more D&D tomorrow. We've got World Street Burns on and Lindy's campaign, Song of Stars and Storms. So you can join us for that. But until next time, my friends, it's been a pleasure. Try not to roll too many net ones, because we want to be here laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Bye. Don't marry people who your dad say. Bye.